Part 85. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 841. Chapter 841, The strength has reached the god level. After a day of fighting, the entire island of the sacred tree was almost killed, and the corpses of the wreckage of various monsters were everywhere. Light is the void spirit. Lu Shidu has already killed no less than 100. That's already 1,000,000,000 points. In addition, all kinds of monsters from the underworld have been killed here, but the strength of these monsters themselves is relatively weak, and they cannot break through the outermost god-level barrier defense line. It can only be bombarded indiscriminately by the divine power cannon. Until now, the points have been as much as 1.5 billion. Lu Shu looked at this long series of numbers, and they had already reached the record of his last 3-day record. And it's just the first day. Unimaginable. There are only a few more monsters coming here in the next 2 days. At that time, what kind of terrifying big number will your points come to? Pick up. Woohoo! After the first day of the Grey Realm invasion, the group of little guys hiding behind the sacred tree began to scream excitedly again. After so many battles, the little ones such as Pikachu and Reincarnation Fox also know when to fight, when to win, and when to rest. The first day of the Grey invasion ends. As is customary, it's a great meal. Today the battle ended early. I'll get you some fairy dew jelly jujube chicken. With fish oil, it should work very well. Lu Shu said with a smile. The little guys such as Reincarnation Fox and Pikachu were immediately excited when they heard that there was such a good thing. They know there's something good to eat next. Every time after the Grey Realm invasion is over, you can eat such a delicious human delicacy, which can only be said to be a must. There's nothing more delicious than enjoying it after defeating an enemy. If there is, it's 2 delicious servings. Wait until you're done eating. It was still early, and this time Lu Shu had too much time to end the battle. After all, he only needed to kill the void ghost that had teleported to the island. As for the monsters outside, after all of them come out, just put a skill at random, and all of them are dead. Monsters below the demigod level, for the current Lu Shu, are not his opponents at all, and they can be destroyed at will. While there's nothing going on right now, Lu Shu actually has the habit of visiting forums. After all, he originally had a clone, staying on the island, neither cultivating nor having anything else to do, just staring at the forum of the Divine Tree World all day long, watching news, reading gossip, and inquiring about all kinds of gossip. So, don't look at Lu Shu all the time brushing copies, but he actually knows a lot about all kinds of intelligence news in the Grey world. Most of the loot that he got from the Grey Realm before was of little value to the current Lu Shu, and was basically used in exchange for intelligence. Therefore, Lu Shu actually has the habit of peeping and probing for intelligence, but it's not very obvious, and no one knows about it. At this moment, he opened the chat panel of his guild, and immediately saw Xiao Chang'an and several other core members, all of whom sighed that after eating the fruit of divine power, the ability was simply too easy to use. Especially Anil and Hakugitsu. They are one of the few girls in the Xiao organization, but their strength has reached the god level. I've uploaded the video of the battle to the small group. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 842. Chapter 842 is almost comparable to having the ability to fight the gods. I saw the video in the middle of the. With the eye of reincarnation, Baiyu swept over directly with a glance. All the creatures in the vicinity died at once. These monsters, originally in the ruins of the Law God, posed a great threat to Xiao Chang'an and the others. However, after arriving at the island of Baiyu, he turned out to be like an ant, and a glance at 737 can determine life and death. Immediately, the entire guild members were shocked by this. Xiao Chang'an, has our Bayou grown to this stage? That is a magic god sacrifice that even Deng Buletin's predecessors have to feel extremely tricky. This level of monsters, when they were in the ruins of the law god, chased and killed the entire library. Fortunately, we ran relatively fast and came out of it, otherwise an enemy of this level, at least, would have to waste a big move that we all gathered to defeat it. Prodigal Son's sword, Sister Bayou is really strong. Is this the power of god-level skills, that unbeatable sacrifice? Just like that, I was killed. I love it. Bayou, okay, you all of you, don't always praise me like this. I don't know if I'm really floating. An enemy of this level is able to be dealt with so easily because it is suppressed by the power of various laws in my Divine Tree Island. But if you get to the Grey Realm, it's not that simple. Su Qing, Sister Bayou is still too modest. Unlike that prodigal sword, she is so vegetable, and she is so crazy all day long. The prodigal son. Prodigal son, get rid of this ant. Where did I provoke you? Do you think I am a dish? I still think you are a dumpling skin. Su Qing, ah. You dare to call me ant? I'm not done with you. Ignore the above two people swiping and pinching each other. Anyway, in the guild of the Xiao organization, this is already a cliché. The others naturally followed the conversation along with the previous topic. NLE, it's worthy of Sister Bayou. The ability of this eye seems to be much stronger than my thunder and lightning. Ding, NLE uploaded a memory video. When I opened it, I saw that the thunder in the sky instantly killed all the monsters on the island, and the terrifying power was like a catastrophe. All the monsters in front of this thunder light, they don't even have the ability to resist, and they are all killed in seconds. This shocking range-type skill fell in the eyes of everyone in the Xiao organization. Even if they were so well informed, they were already accustomed to all kinds of powerful and strange skills in the Grey Realm. In the Divine Tree world, I saw such a powerful existence as Lu Shu, and I saw the deeper part of the Grey Realm, the vast and boundless space, and the divine domain that may still be being taught. Rao was like this. Seeing the skills released by NLE and Bayou, any member of the audience felt that this attack was extremely powerful. Even if 1.6 is related to the original domination of the entire forum, the messenger from the divine domain, Luo Shui. The attack created is half a pound and 2 with this. This means that as long as the members of the Akatsuki organization stay on their Divine Tree Island, they will almost have the ability to fight the gods. In the Grey Realm, it is definitely a top-level combat power. And there will be more and more such characters in the future. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 843. Chapter 843, The Black Shadow Holding the Death Scythe. It's okay. It seems that NLE and Bayou's abilities, if they are on their own island, even if they face an opponent of Luo Shui's level, they will not fall into disadvantage. In any island raid battle, in fact, it is not the key to whether you can defeat the opponent. As long as you wait until 3 days have passed, all the monsters that are still in the island will die. Even if it's a god, it should be the same. Speaking of which, the Divine Tree world is really an incredible existence. When the Grey Realm catastrophe descended and began to invade, all the living beings wanted to capture the island of the Divine Tree Master. Why the hell is that? Lu Shu's eyes sank for 18 and said secretly in his heart. First of all, it is naturally very good that the Xiao organization can appear god-level powerhouses like NLE and Bayou. It means that the guild is now in the strength stage of development, and it does not need to help itself, and it has the ability to fight against the top combat units in the Grey World. In the future, the exploration can be a little bolder and open up more in-depth information, so that the guild members of the Xiao organization can explore the distant future. Of course, Lu Shu had reached heights that no other Divine Tree Master had reached, and he began to frequently think about the more profound and unfathomable issues of the gray realm. For example, the gray origin theory and the like. I usually visit these forums and express my opinions anonymously. Of course, the vast majority of the Divine Tree Masters expressed disdain for these speculations, believing that this should be the shrunken turtle party staying in the Divine Tree Island, so boring to explore these meaningless questions. What are serious people doing? They are all trying to become stronger, to make a career, to make money, to plant trees. Who's going to do all this fake and empty stuff? There is little information, but in general, it is relatively good to be able to absorb everyone's opinions. It helps Lu Shu to think more about this aspect. Of course, there will be no results in the short term. After all, even the Grey Realm Lu Shu had not been thoroughly explored, and the Divine Kingdom and Heavenly Palace in the Divine Domain were completely like a blank sheet of paper, without a specific concept. Just killed a Luoshui, and it should be the next step to form a bond with the powerhouses of the Nine Heavens sect. But Lu Shu didn't think it was a bad thing, but felt that it was a good thing. He is an enemy of the Nine Heavens faction of the Divine Domain, and it seems that he has a very powerful opponent, but this just shows that his strength has become even stronger than before. Only the strong who continue to grow stronger will continue to face greater difficulties in the future, constantly break through themselves, and complete the sublimation and purification of the body, mind, and soul, so that they can finally stand at the peak of this world. The 080 people who are unwilling to take risks and accept the test are only weak after all, and can only stay where they are. Now that my guild has developed, let's wait for the invasion of the Grey Realm the next day. Lu Shu took a deep breath and said in his heart. The long night passed. But the clouds did not completely dissipate. The real storm has just begun. As the second day of the Grey Realm invasion struck, the grey fog on the sea around the island became even thicker than before. The dead aura shrouded all directions, as if the real powerhouse had just arrived here. That's when, at the end of the grey mist, black shadows holding death scythes appeared directly on the island. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 844. Chapter 844, Win the First Place. These figures all exude an incomparably powerful aura. Straddling from the end of the island's grey world. The upper limit of the whole body is full of a chilling aura. That's a monster from the lower realms. Although the strength is also demigod level, there is already a gap between the monsters at the demigod level. This kind of monster is infinitely close to the realm that can threaten the pseudo-god, and the dead chi wrapped around their bodies is close to the realm of the realm. Any attack that falls on this dead body will completely erode all the energy. It's like a very powerful barrier that can evade everything. Even when the divine power cannon bombarded this group of monsters, the effect was relatively limited. So, this monster is very tricky. At the same time, a monster panel also popped up in front of Lu Shu. Gatekeeper of the Netherworld. Species, Underworld monsters. Danger factor, pseudo-god level. Force, 107,300. Speed, 105,250. Defense, 104,420. Skills, Dark Engulf, Law of Death, Death Scythe, Death Judgment, Darkness Descends, Never Daylight. Description: they are the men who guard the gates of the Netherworld, and have the laws that govern life and death. Beware of their scythes, which are untouchable, but those who touch them are reduced to dry bones. Listening to this description, it seems to be very powerful. Lu Shu smiled, but he didn't care about it. Truly, this kind of monster has reached a very high level, and even the attack of the divine power cannon will be diluted by this law. But now Lu Shu is completely different from the past, and has become extremely powerful. Ever since he cultivated the taking exercises, and then fused them with the exercises of the Nine Heavens goddess. His Dao deeds alone are not something that ordinary first-order true gods can resist. Just ask, a strong person of this level can still crush a few pseudo-god level monsters. It's nothing more than killing, and it takes a little effort. A mysterious law emerged around Lu Shu's body, a crystal sapling, appearing in the void, as if containing endless vitality. But this vitality seemed to be the deadliest thing to the gatekeeper of the netherworld. All the monsters affected by this branch fell into a tragic death without exception. Directly turn into a burst of grey fog and dissipate away. You killed the nether gatekeeper, and the points will increase by 50 million. You killed the nether gatekeeper, and the points will be increased by 50 million. Very good, it seems that my understanding of the meaning of the law has deepened again. Lu Shu noticed that his attack methods were more clever than before, and he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. The true avenue, that is above the divinity. After all, divinity is just the beginning, and it is still a very vague concept, but only when you truly reach the ultimate path can you cultivate to the realm above God. And after King Qian's, Lu Shu fused the taking exercises and the 9 heavens exercises. The perception of that Dao seeing directly surpassed that of ordinary gods, and it was naturally as easy as it was to kill such monsters. Dozens of netherworld gatekeepers who came to Lushu Island were killed in seconds. Meanwhile, Lu Shu's points have also come to as much as 2.5 billion. Tisk, my current score should be enough to win the first place. Lu Shu said secretly in his heart. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 845. Chapter 845, A Scene I Saw. The next day's battle was over. Lu Shu followed the previous practice and directly gave the little ones on the Divine Tree Island a delicious meal. Of course, he now has so many ingredients, and the top food is already made casually. The little ones on the island eat with their stomachs bulging, but there is still a lot of food that they can't eat. As for these delicacies, Lu Shu naturally packed them all and put them directly in the guild of the Xiao organization. So that everyone can enjoy the blessing 627 benefits that only the Xiao organization guild can enjoy. Suddenly, this group of people jumped out in an instant and praised Lu Shu's food. The president's craftsmanship is also too top-notch, no one can imagine how to make so many delicacies, and each method is different, and the ingredients used are even more diverse. I feel that the president is really a god, and only the legendary god can enjoy such food, right? Not to mention the divine domain, even if it is the Jade Emperor, then we must not respect our president, specially appointed as an exclusive chef, and give a god position or something to play. Moreover, after eating the food of the president, I feel that my strength has improved a lot. To be honest, if it weren't for the food of the president to help me quickly improve a wave of strength, I might not have been able to win this grey world invasion. Thank you, President. At this moment, the members of the guild began to thank one after another. Dark Knight and Fish Mystery have also joined the army to snatch welfare. Since enjoying the food cooked by Lu Shu himself, they all felt that the rest of the food in this world had become tasteless. Only Lu Shu's food is the best round. People often go from thrift to luxury, and from luxury to thrift. Since I tasted such delicious food, the rest of the food was like chaff in the mouth, and it was hard to eat. Originally, Dark Knight and Yusuanji, Bibjay, will also be afraid of their face as the leader of other guilds, and they can't pull their faces to compete with others for benefits. But now, if they can't eat the food made by Lu Shu again, then they will all die. No, you can't do without the food made by Lu Shu. Losing Lu Shu's food, it's like the sky losing its color. What's the point of living? After some delicious food, everyone felt extremely satisfied, as if they had traveled to heaven and earth, and there was a feeling of fluttering like a fairy. That's when the small group was also active. Xiao Chang'an, it is worthy of the delicious food made by the president, and the whole person is comfortable to eat. Su Qing, write more about the president's hospitality. NLE, the food made by the president is really not tired of eating it no matter how many times you eat it. Bayou, it's really an honor in my life to join the Xiao organization. Prodigal son, isn't the White Moon girl still quitting the Fenjian Guild, and now you think that our Xiao organization is our home? Bayou, ahem, I am more inclined to communicate with gentlemen as light as water, but I am not as familiar with you as you are. NLE, hey, it's still a good atmosphere in our guild, not only have friends, but also a lot of delicious food, it feels like a big home. Lu Shu saw the chat of these people, and the corners of his mouth were slightly hooked. This is also the scene he wanted to see when he founded the Xiao organization. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 846. Chapter 846 Gift. There's nothing more worry-free than a good guild atmosphere. And the members of the guild can get along with each other like friends, which is naturally what Lu Shu likes to see. That's when the prodigal son sword said with a sad face, alas, these guys in the ruins are really getting more and more difficult to kill, and most of the monsters pulled by the Grey Realm this time are those hateful guys. Su Qing, yes, although I swallowed the divine power fruit of the president, I feel that it is still a little difficult to defend. Dark Knight, after all, the scope of our exploration of the Dharma God ruins has reached about 60%, and we have encountered some difficult monsters along the way, and we may be pulled into this Grey Realm invasion. Xiao Chang'an, fortunately, we swallowed the president's divine power fruit, although we didn't awaken the god-level skills like the Bai girl and an Le girl, but after the attributes of the divine power were greatly improved, it was a little easier to deal with this group of monsters. Su Qing, tomorrow is the last day of this Grey Realm invasion, and it always feels like there will be a storm waiting for us. Lu Shu looked at the chat of the members of the Xiao organization, but showed a thoughtful expression. Truly. Judging from the progress of the Xiao organization's current exploration of the ruins of the Law God, if it is an invasion of the Grey Realm, it should pull out a very outrageous monster. Of course, most of the monsters in the ruins of the god are still at the level of demigods. There are only a very few mechanics that pose a threat to god-level powerhouses. But these remnants are generally civilizations with the ruins of the law gods, and they rarely say that they involve monsters or the like. And the mechanic doesn't follow into the island. So, for the time being, you can rest assured. But Lu Shu felt that the overall strength of the Xiao organization must also be improved. Especially for this group of core members, we still need to give enough resources. Although, these exercises may be a little too advanced for them. But at their level, exposure to such things is not necessarily completely unfavorable to them. The divine domain exercises that I have fused may be able to be passed on to this group of core members, and they must possess the most standard god-level strength as soon as possible in order to keep up with my progress and explore the deeper things of these ruins more riskily. Lu Shu said secretly in his heart. In fact, he originally set up this task, and he didn't expect Xiao Chang'an and others to complete it so quickly. When necessary, contact yourself and just quit. The main reason is to let this group of core members first familiarize themselves with the more difficult tasks of the Grey Realm and observe their reactions. But to Lu Shu's surprise, the members of the Akatsuki organization are making rapid progress. None of them will say back from their feet. This really exceeded Lu Shu's expectations. In this case, it should be reasonable to give more rewards appropriately, as the president of the Xiao organization. Guys, open the trading panel, and I'll give you something. Lu Shu sent words on the chat panel in the small group. As soon as this statement came out, the hearts of the other members were shocked. As long as Lu Shu said this, they already knew what was going on next. The things that are given away will not be ordinary knives. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 847. Chapter 847. Read it again. Ha ha ha, sure enough, he is worthy of our president. It seems that there are good things in his hands again. I don't know what kind of good things the president will give us this time. I'm looking forward to it. It seems that our overall strength is going to become stronger again this time, which is of course a happy thing. Yay! The members of the Xiao organization were all as excited as if they had been beaten with chicken blood 267. Like a chicken pecking rice, he opened the trading panel. I can't wait for the reward from the president. At first, everyone was a little embarrassed, but now the goal of all the members is to fight for the organization. People have come to think of this as a big family. Naturally, it is not so obvious. And being able to receive a reward from the president means that they have been recognized by the other party. This is of course a matter of pride for the members of the Xiao organization. Even Dark Knight and Fish Mystery opened the trading panel as quickly as possible. Well, let's be honest, these two guys are getting less and less of a chairperson and see themselves as members of the Akatsuki organization. I have to say, the cohesion of this guild is so strong. As long as everyone has carried out tasks together, it is a good companion in life and death. That's when, on the opposite side of the trading panel, there is a book. Something like a cheats for exercises. The members of the Xiao organization immediately clicked on it and took a look. I found that there were no notes in it. There aren't any information panels either. It shows that this item should be created by the chairman of the Xiao organization himself. The type is exercise. Everyone's hearts moved slightly. It turns out that the president gave us a secret book like the Law of Cultivation. It's the same as a magic book or something. However, what is the origin of this exercise? Could it be the practice that the president is practicing now? I feel like I've touched the core secret of the guild. The members of the Xiao organization were all in a daze, and they realized that although this exercise was self-made, there was no remark. But it is probably the most important ability of the president. Get this exercise. It symbolizes that they have all become the core members of the Akatsuki organization. Because this exercise, unlike any fruit, is likely to contain the abilities and passwords of the leader of the Xiao organization. This shocked and surprised the members of the Xiao organization. They never expected that they would get such a reward. Hey, it's actually a secret book of exercises, then I must practice hard. Is it a magic book? It doesn't look like it. Magic books generally have magical powers, but this book gives me the feeling that it is very much like going back to basics. It seems to be full of awkward Chinese, and it's a little hard to understand. The members of the Xiao organization hurriedly opened the book, but it was all 2.3 paragraphs of ancient texts, and when they read it, it made people feel obscure. Scumbags like an Le and prodigal son Jian, when they saw the content of the exercises, they were all blinded and stared dryly. I don't know what I should do next. That's when Lu Shu opened his mouth and said, if you have any doubts, you can directly read the words above. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 848. Chapter 848, Sword God. The members of the Xiao organization couldn't help but be slightly stunned. It's too simple, isn't it? Just read it over and over again. All of you here have graduated from 9 years of compulsory education, and there is no problem in reading and writing. Since it was the president's words, there was naturally a deep meaning in them. At that moment, he sat down on his God's domain island and began to read the scriptures on it. That's when they all felt their spiritual power, as if they were completely connected with the scriptures in this exercise. At that moment, A supreme avenue of meaning suddenly flowed in my heart, like an initiation. All the members of the organization were amazed. 180,000 points. They all sighed. Wow! This feeling is so refreshing, it feels like my soul has undergone a magnificent baptism. That's right, this is what it feels like to read. No wonder everyone says that there is a golden house in the book, and sure enough, reading can make me strong. You're stupid, it's because our president has injected great power into the exercises, and it's our president who is awesome. This feels like you're absorbing God-level ores. Well, I haven't absorbed it, but that's how it feels. At this moment, the members of the Xiao organization all felt a terrifying change in their strength. All the Dao rhymes are starting to grow like crazy. At this stage, all of you here have your own domains and laws. In fact, every field and law corresponds to the rhyme. But other professions do not have such a clear perception as Lu Shu. Because most of their abilities actually come from directly swallowing the fruits produced by the divine tree, they have obtained relevant skill information. But what sets Lu Shu apart from others is he has a lot of Tao perceptions in him, and he doesn't rely entirely on the fruit. It's that you have a real way to cultivate, to perceive, and to kill more powerful monsters. In this way, Lu Shu has a very high level of understanding at the level of perception. Almost standing at the top of this world. So, the exercises created by Lu Shu, after fusing his own perceptions, almost had the effect of reducing the dimension of other divine tree masters. Even being able to understand such a little bit of skin is of great help to them. The members of the Akatsuki organization read it for a while. That's when everyone found that they had a huge harvest. Ha ha ha, I actually found that my strength has improved a lot. Thank you for this exercise given to me by the president. My current strength is very close to the level of a pseudo-god. The 707 exercises that the president gave me have actually made the Thunder Realm evolve, and now the Thunder Tribulation is afraid that even that goddess can be hacked to death. What the hell is going on? I feel that my reincarnation eye has become a lot stronger than before, which is not to say that I can have a higher multiplier when I release skills, but simply because I understand the release of skills, I have risen more than one level, so it has also brought significant changes to actual combat. That's when a faint voice echoed in everyone's ears. Everyone, I'm sorry. I've become a sword god in the next. Ding, Prodigal Sword uploaded a video. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 849. Chapter 849 Perfect. I saw. In the video screen. Above the head of the prodigal son, a huge sword is suspended. At the same time, the aura on his body also became stronger. It was as if he could split the sky with a sword. Followed by. The prodigal son in the video laughed loudly. Ha ha ha, thank you for the exercises that the president taught me, and I finally comprehended the realm of the sword god. It turns out that there are so many incredible ways in this world, waiting for me to comprehend. It seems that the world I was exposed to before was still very small. Start. Today. The sword god prodigal son sword is online. The next second. Countless torrents of sword shadows surged around them. The prodigal son sword was bathed in boundless and endless sword aura, and the vast thousands of miles and thousands of miles of green clouds were scattered for it. This scene. The members of the Xiao organization who watched the audience couldn't help but feel admiration. The prodigal sword has actually comprehended the realm of this layer of sword chi, isn't this directly taking off? It's worthy of Brother Lang. I was still lamenting that I couldn't send it, but I didn't expect that in the blink of an eye, I would become the third big guy in our guild to become a god. Why are we all reading the president's book, but there is such a big gap between people? The members of the Xiao organization couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Of course. They also know why. The prodigal sword was originally a complete kendo madman. As long as he understands the way of the sword, he can achieve a very outrageous realm. However, due to the ruins of the gods explored before, they are all related to magic. The relationship with kendo is not very large. Naturally, the prodigal sword was not very fast in terms of progress. But in fact, among all of them, the prodigal sword seems to be tiger-headed, but his understanding is the best in the audience. Don't forget. When Lu Shu first presented the sword god template fruit to the members of the Xiao organization, the progress of the prodigal son sword at that time was ahead of everyone. The strength of the understanding can be seen in general. Of course. The prodigal son sword is also a very typical partial student. Except for the field of kendo, everything else is almost a mess. But this exercise book given by Lu Shu contains endless knowledge of the great Dao. All avenues are basically connected in the end. Lu Shu can perfectly integrate the exercises of the Taking sect and the Nine Heavens sect, and he is very inclusive. The exercises created are naturally all-encompassing and can carry all the ways. As such a basic avenue, it is not uncommon for kendo to be included. So, the reason why the prodigal son sword was able to break through his realm to the level of the sword god by consulting Lu Shu's exercises was precisely because of this. Directly from these complex and all-encompassing Dao mantras, I realized my own sword path. He even achieved the personality of the sword god. This surprise exceeded Lu Mo Zhao's tree's expectations. The prodigal sword is worthy of being a madman in the way of the sword, and it seems that they have enough ability to break through the ruins of the law god. Lu Shu glanced at the core lineup of the members of the Xiao organization. With the overall strength of the members of the Dan organization, they can completely attack the core of the law god ruins. You don't need your own help to complete the task perfectly. This is certainly a good thing. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 850. Chapter 850, A Solemn Look. But, in addition to the prodigal son's sword, the other members of the Xiao organization were, after reading the exercises that Lu Shu had given them, have also used good insights. I feel that my strength in all aspects of the field has increased. Everyone couldn't help but sigh. Ah. Yes, I really didn't expect the president to be able to help us so much. My current Dark Night realm has become even more powerful than before, as if it can be done when night falls. The stars I smashed down are 127 stronger than before, and they can definitely kill the monsters on the island in an instant. The members of the Xiao organization felt their strength and thanked them in the chat group. Lu Shu, of course, smiled and didn't bother to tell everyone too much. It's not that it's pretending to be cold, but in this case, there is not much point in talking more. Don't say too much when giving, this is the most in line with the image. Because what others know about you will continue to deepen from what you do. At this time, keeping silent is more able to maintain the image in the hearts of others than to explain and show off. Bike. That's when it happened. The third day of the Grey invasion has finally arrived. At this moment, a storm struck every beloved island of the Divine Tree Master. Countless people have once again fallen into the challenge. That's when Lu Shu suddenly felt an incomparably powerful aura descending. Unlike the previous 2 days, it was an endless aura of the underworld, and it pounced directly. But now, it's just a breath of a knife. The only breath arrived here. It didn't take a few seconds. A black shadow appeared directly above the island of the sacred tree. It was as if he had ignored any barriers and restrictions of formations. Straight into the air. Lu Shu's face also showed a solemn expression, because he knew that the person who came was not good. To be able to directly cross so many mechanics and descend to the core of the island, the enemy is at least a god-level character. This is the first time that Lu Shu has faced a god-level enemy and come to his own island. Although I had the experience of facing Luo Shui last time, it was outside after all, so I wasn't so nervous. Deal. If you can't beat it, you can teleport back to your own island without any problems. But now, he is facing a god-level enemy who has begun to invade the Grey Realm. There is no way back. Such an enemy must be faced. But fortunately, the current Lu Shu is much stronger than at the beginning, and even Luo Shui can easily solve it. For Lu Shu, a god-level enemy is already an existence of the same level. That's when Lu Shu's pupils contracted slightly, and he felt extremely surprised. He couldn't be more familiar with the figure of the Comer. Guan Yu, the general who once fought to a draw with Lu Shu in the underworld. At this time, he was holding the Qinglong glaive knife and standing here. He has a long Guangong beard. In his eyes, there was a hint of clarity. After a while, Guan Yu stared at the entire island and muttered to himself. There is still such a place. At this moment, a figure appeared in front of him, Lu Shu. But the moment Guan Yu saw Lu Shu, he also showed a solemn look.